Live on recording from Rochester, New York, this is FC3's Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky, and everything can be geeky if you love it enough. We are starring Tanya Metris, we are starring Dan Carmen, we are starring Billy DeTore, and we are starring myself, your host. My name is Chris, and we welcome you to another week of What the Hell Are We Talking About This Time? Good morning, everybody.
That's because none of us know. Moment of silence just says it all.
Well, the thing I've noticed is that in recent weeks, we've had an idea and we've had a topic and we've completely ignored it and talked about other things anyway. So it felt like, why are we even trying at this point?
Well, we kind of kept around it a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What a focal point.
This is going to be the first episode of December. Right, because December. This is going to be released in like December 1st or 2nd. December 2nd. A day that will live in infamy. Not infamy, just fummy. So, because I don't think that could be that bad. But anyway, so that's our first.
The day's still early. Hold
the day. It's still early yet, and I'm thinking that we're winding up 2020, and it has been an interesting year. So I think a little bit of retrospective is in order. A little bit of looking back of what happened over the past 12 months. And did we predict it? And did we not? And did we see this coming? And did we not? And also it sets us up for the last couple of episodes of the year. And I'm thinking that the final week of December, we'll probably not have a podcast because we'll be doing our usual holiday break thing. But somewhere along the line, we should start talking about things that we want to do in 2021.
Forget about 2020.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's enough tequila for that, my sweet girl.
I'll find something else.
But we also want to start setting things up because, unfortunately, January 1st, 2021, things don't magically change. The virus is not suddenly going to dissipate, and political and civil unrest is not suddenly going to just disappear on 2021. But it gives everybody that mental, fresh start. That emotional benchmark where we can okay, we've put this year to bed. We have a whole new year ahead of us. Let's start from scratch and see what we can do. And so this is going to be December is the month of transition as we start to leave autumn and get ready for winter. As we start to leave 2020 and get ready for 21, as we leave a lot of the stuff that has pained us this year and we move on, so that's what I'm thinking is starting a transitional kind of a thing. So we look back a little bit, we talk about some of the things we've said, some of the things we did, and we'll start working on talking about the things we want to do. I've been starting to reach out this week to some people to see if I can line up some interviews because I haven't done an interview really in a long, long time. And I know that Dan has been talking to our friend Elizabeth Rice, about coming on and talking about Doctor Who, which she's not had a chance to do in a little while. And we just had the 57th birthday of Doctor Who about a week or so ago. So there's things we can look forward to. And I think that's the theme for December with the Monkey Business podcast is let's talk about where we've been, but also let's look forward to things. How we like that cool idea? Is that a good idea?
Yeah,
let's give that a shot.
And now, of course, what's on our Amazon wish lists too?
Oh, we do that every year. Yeah, I still have.
I have found the wish list, and I'm starting to add stuff to it.
And how much stuff is Baby Yoda related?
All of it right now.
Tanya has an addiction.
And my mom staged a little intervention yesterday.
Yes,
but I know where it is, and it's something I truly don't need. But it was so cute.
Tell us the story.
So I was in the process of putting up my Christmas tree yesterday. So we were cleaning my living room and really deep cleaning the living room, and realized that the rug that was underneath the couches and stuff that it had to go. It just had to go. So then we pulled it up. That's where the clean spot is underneath that rug, and then you can see because our carpet's 23 years old. It's nasty. It needs to be totally replaced, but can't be replaced until the kids move out, which so basically the carpet will never be replaced. Right. So my mom and I went shopping to look for an area rug to put there, an 8x10. So we started at home. We went to Big Lots. We went here, went there. So we were coming through Bed Bath & Beyond. They don't have area rugs, I come to find out. They have everything else, but no area rugs that are 8x10. But I'm coming around the back part near the china and the home decor, and on one of the middle posts are sleeping bags. And at the top, at the very, very top, out of reach, that was probably a good thing. Out of reach was Baby Yoda sleeping bag. And it was like something that you zip up into, and the head was the pillow. And it was so cute. I'm like, oh, you did it. And my mom pushes me from my back behind me. She's like, intervention, and pushed me around the corner and things like that. And I'm like, but. She's like, nope, come on, let's go. I'm like, you're feeding that addiction anyway. And I said, but I do have to come back to get the Buffalo Bills fleecy blankets for my son Riker for Christmas. I do have to go back, but I am not going to buy the Baby Yoda sleeping bag. But I did get a Baby Yoda Chia Pet yesterday at Walmart because my husband pointed that out. He's like,
Chia.
yeah, it's in his little pram. He goes, we were walking through Walmart looking for area rugs still. And he's like, oh, there was a Chia Pet in Baby Yoda in his pram. I'm like, what? Where? So I got it home. I did bring it home. But yeah, so that's my I do have a problem. I do have a problem.
Yes,
and I've resisted some things. Some things, but
no.
Yeah, I could have worse addictions.
True.
That's true. I mean, that's an obvious.
It's a Star Wars addiction, and there's certain cute fuzzy things. I am looking for a Baby Yoda ornament for my Christmas tree. I am looking for that, and because I want to make sure that I include that on my Christmas tree. I have BB-8. I've got what else do I have on there? I'm not sure.
So, hold on.
I know I've got a couple TARDIS on there. I've got a Dalek. So it's like my fandom. So I need a Baby Yoda.
Okay.
But we have some sad Star Wars news.
Yes, we do. We did learn during the overnight of the passing of David Prowse, the actor who was the original, did all the body work for Darth Vader in the original trilogy, Empire Strikes Back, and New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And an interesting anecdote: he apparently read all the lines. He did the whole part and didn't realize that James Earl Jones had been dubbed in over him until opening night when he was at the premiere. And he's sitting there and he sees Darth Vader come out and he hears James Earl Jones's voice come out. And his first thought was that George Lucas had somehow modified his voice. And he was like, wait, I didn't know he was going to do that to my voice. And then somebody confirmed, no, that's an entirely different actor. And he was a little heated at first, but he agreed to come back and he did the part for both of the sequel movies to that. And that was his contribution to the legend that is Star Wars. So the man in the suit. And he passed away. How old was he? Did we see that?
85.
85. That's a hell of a run right there. But everybody who ever met him and everybody who ever talked to him said what a gracious and what a great guy he was. He was a favorite on the convention circuit. People loved to chat with him. He was a very imposing person. He's as tall as I am and built like a brick shithouse. So he was definitely one of those guys that could fill a doorway and made that suit come to life all the more with his presence. So he will definitely be missed. And I'm sure Star Wars fans around the world will be waking up to that today and sharing stories about what they thought of a character that is often felt to be one of the most ultimate villains in all of cinema. So,
can I tell you how much I love Billy?
How much do you love Billy?
I love him a lot. That he's helping feed my addiction.
Is he sending you Baby Yoda stuff?
If you look in the messenger, I saw a Baby Yoda ornament that I thought Tanya would enjoy from Amazon. So,
and that's actually a decent price. The other ones I've seen are like $29, $43. I'm just like, yeah, I'm holding off on that. So thank you, Billy.
Billy, do not encourage her.
Amazon is one of my superpowers.
Oh my God. I have so many things coming from Amazon. I've been completely shopping for Christmas presents and things like that for everybody. But I did Amazon an area rug yesterday because I couldn't find anything that I really liked. We stopped at Walmart, we stopped at Ollie's, and just I was not willing to spend $300 on an area rug that I know was going to get destroyed in a matter of weeks.
Right.
So I only spent 116 for an 8x10. So
if you put all your baby Yodas and alien stuff on your area rug, does that make it an Area 51 rug?
Sure.
It's just early. Too easy, Drill Sergeant. Too easy.
So I know a couple weeks ago we had been talking about fictional presidents.
Yes, we had.
And
I was there for that conversation. I remember.
Yeah, we were all and we were like, oh, we're going to have to view Idiocracy.
Did you do it?
I did.
And
I don't know. Maybe it's my double X chromosome, but it was really, really dumb. But
that was the point, though.
But it was like horrible, dumb. Like I usually can check my brain at the door and just sit and enjoy whatever, but I can't get back that 90 some odd minutes. I think I chuckled once.
Darling, you have to remember, this was a movie that was created by the same man who brought you King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead. Nobody ever had expectations of Oscar-worthy material. The problem is that it's become more of a social commentary on the current state of affairs than an actual satire and just plain stupid movie.
No.
And I'd like to say anything with Maya Rudolph can't be bad.
That is a fair point.
Now, granted, for like a good portion of it, she really wasn't in a lot of the scenes. So it's really following Luke Wilson, and then she only comes in every so often. But I don't know. I'm like, it was like almost 45 minutes in before I even saw Terry Crews. So, but it was basically Luke Wilson and Dax Shepard for a good majority of the movie.
Right.
So I don't know.
Just exposing you to the insanity of what could be.
It was. Yeah, no.
And sometimes movies don't age well. Yesterday, Susan and I tried watching Bringing Down the House, which is a 2003 movie with Steve Martin and Queen Latifah.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
I think I saw it at the theater. To be honest with you, I'm not positive. And a lot of jokes nowadays come across a little cringy, like racially offensive, little too easy, and it was a huge hit. I remember the movie being a big hit at the time, and we made it by half an hour and just nah, let's move on.
Yeah. Oh God, I had a thought. Are there other movies that we can? I mean, I think we've had a whole podcast about movies that have not aged well, or ones that we loved, but we have to second look and like, wait, what happened here?
No, but I mean, you and I watched National Treasure on Friday, and that's just a fun movie, no matter how often we've seen it.
I always love that movie. Every time I see it, I love that freaking movie. And of course, I also have an emotional attachment to it, and as Tanya experienced, because I was thinking of a life that could have been, and that was one of the things I was originally planning on doing. You know, what I wanted to do when I grew up was be a history professor. That was one of those things that I just wanted to do as I was going through college, was getting into education, being a teacher, and working my way up, you know, being an English teacher, being a history teacher, stuff like that. You know, so I could really so I could spend my life studying this stuff for my own amusement, you know, and then I could pass it off as, oh, I'm working this. This is my job, you know, because the old aphorism, if you do what you love, then you never work a day in your life, and, you know, in an emotional level. So I was thinking about all that cool stuff. I mean, he's solving all these riddles and and stepping through early American history. So he's parading through fact and history, and while pushing his story forward. But I'm like, oh God, I knew about that. Oh, I know that's real. Oh my God, that's real. I knew that stuff. So it was so cool for me. And I'm like, I want to go to Philadelphia and walk around and soak that all in.
You could go with Sean. He's leaving today.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, it's not like I don't have things to do this week, but okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll just jump into stuff that I was talking about at the top of the show, and other movies that we've watched recently, and other things that we want to do going forward. How's that sound? We'll make it happen. Okay. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, and all non-binary points in between. I got scolded for that. I'm like, okay, I was trying to be as broad spectrum as possible, and thinking that I was clever and cute at the same time. And they're like, well, just say non-binary, and I'm like, well, that works. If that's going to help feel people like they've been acknowledged, then I'm good with that. I'm absolutely
welcome
cool
all human beings.
Welcome all human beings of all shapes, sizes, and types.
And Baby Yoda.
And Baby Yoda.
He's never going to get old. I'm sorry. He's still going to be cute and adorable.
When 900 years you reached this good, you will not look, or you will look not, or I don't remember how the line goes.
Yeah.
So, what's on tap for the day, friends?
Laundry.
I'm doing laundry.
Are you being the tick?
Yeah,
there you go. See, nice. Picked up on that.
I love the tick, actually.
It was very clever.
Yeah.
I never saw any of the live action one.
I did. Well, now there's 2 live action versions. There's the one Amazon had in the last few years, and there's one from about 10 years ago with Patrick Warburton, the guy that played Putty on Seinfeld.
Right, yeah.
And I have that one on DVD because I thought it was very funny.
I see David Warburton doing justice to the tick character, because he has that delivery that's just so slow and misses the point on several occasions.
It's
kind of a thing.
Fantastic superhero parody. So I'm a fan. And
go ahead, Dan.
No, it's Billy. And
Billy.
I'm just going to watch football today. But did the weird thing in the world of the NFL this afternoon, the Denver Broncos are going to be playing without a quarterback because one of their quarterbacks tested COVID positive, and the other ones had been in close contact with them with masks, so they've been benched. So they're going to have a rookie wide receiver playing quarterback because he had played a year
in like high school or what?
And like a year of college at Wake Forest before becoming a wide receiver. And he hasn't played quarterback in like 3 or 4 years. And he's their quarterback today. So I may be checking out that Denver Broncos New Orleans Saints game.
Yeah, I'm on my NFL mobile on my phone because I have Verizon. Yeah, it says Broncos to face Saints without all 4 quarterbacks.
That's amazing.
And the other thing is, not the Niners. My Niners, they could play home games in Arizona because the Santa Clara County, where the stadium for the 49ers is in quarantine type thing. So the Niners can't practice in their stadium, and they can't have any games in their stadium right now because of restrictions.
Yeah, they completely shut down San Francisco. So
I can't wrap my brain around that right now.
Yeah, so
and the Bills are supposed to play there next week. So
December 7th.
Yeah.
It says Santa Clara County released the new COVID-19 restrictions on Saturday. It banned all contact sports and mandated a 14-day quarantine for anyone traveling into the area from 150 miles away. In short, it left the 49ers searching for a new home to finish the season because they can't like if the Bills landed there, they would have to quarantine for 14 days. Like that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So It says, sources say the most likely option is for the 49ers to play their final 3 home games in the State Farm Stadium, home of the Arizona Cardinals. Their NFC West rivals, who actually host the Niners in Week 16, are said to be willing to accommodate them. It says the league would like the 49ers to play in an NFL stadium if possible. Another option for the 49ers is to play at a stadium in Texas. So right now they traveled to play the LA Rams today, and they'll return home before the ban goes into effect at midnight. So it says expect them to have a decision soon. So this is like reaching far, far, far.
It's a weird time in sports. Yeah. Because there's college football teams that are having problems scheduling games, and I don't know. As long as we're talking sports, can I tell you I watched the most ridiculous thing in the history of television last night?
Even more so than Idiocracy?
Maybe. Okay. Just maybe. I don't know if you guys followed this on social media, but last night, 54-year-old Mike Tyson fought...
had an exhibition match.
Against 51-year-old Roy Jones Jr. Both of Tyson and Jones at one time in their lives were the best boxers in the world.
Right.
They had the exhibition last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a stream of it, so I watched the program. And before that, I saw 2.5 fights. I saw the Tyson-Jones fight, which was just beyond ridiculous. I can't describe how bad this was.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Did Mike Tyson bite his ear?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
Which is something that people were sort of looking for, but no, that didn't happen.
Sorry.
One of the commentators of the boxing, like I go back to watching boxing on HBO where you had real commented Jim Nantz and Larry Merchant and Dr. Ferdy Pacheco. No, they had Mauro Ranallo, who I know is a WWE commentator, and he was the best one. The other ones included Mario Lopez.
Oh, no.
And, of course, Snoop Dogg.
Oh, of course, because you had to.
Well, if you look online now, Snoop Dogg stole the show.
Did he really?
He had jokes. He was funny. He was smoking the whole time.
Oh, of course he was.
And the fight before the Tyson Jones fight was a guy named Jake Paul, who I knew the name. Turns out he had starred in a Disney show. He was a YouTube star, and now he's become a boxer. And he fought a guy that for 10 years played in the NBA, Nate Robinson. He'd won the slam dunk contest 3 years. Mm-hmm. And that fight was just an abomination.
Don't mince words, Billy. How do you really feel?
Jake Paul crushed Nate Robinson. To the point where Nate Robinson got knocked out, and I literally thought he was dead.
Oh no!
Turns out they got him up, they got him on a stool, and I assume he's fine, or at least has a concussion. But it was a round and a half, and it was just I can't explain. It was like Lions, the Lions and Christians type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the production was terrible. It was at the Staples Center in LA with no audience that I could tell, but I couldn't tell because it was completely dark.
Oh, wow.
The production was awful. It was literally, I couldn't believe I was watching it. And I feel bad for anyone that spent $50 to watch it.
Now, who won with Tyson and...
They declared it a draw.
Did they really?
Yeah. I can't explain. I'm ashamed of myself for staying up until past midnight to watch this thing.
So it was a quest for money is what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Well, boxing has lost a lot of momentum in the past 10 years since MMA and with World Wrestling Federation or World Wrestling Entertainment. It was on the rise and at its peak for a while, and MMA was a big killer where people are like, we want to see something different. And so boxing has kind of lost a lot of its legitimacy over the years. This is not a surprising thing for me.
The one headline I saw, the winner between Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., Snoop Dogg. Didn't expect he's going to wind up commentating on anything and everything people will have him on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Turns out he's a hockey fan. The TNT on NBA has already expressed interest in signing him.
The man has turned himself into an empire, and you can say like, "Look, I'm not a big rap star. I don't like rap fan. I don't like rap music. Period. Stuff like that. You can say all these rappers this, all these rappers that." But Snoop has really turned himself into an empire, and he's done it in the most chill way possible. I mean, one of his best friends is Martha Stewart, for crying out loud. Come on,
He had the line of the night last night. He goes, "This is like watching my two old crazy uncles fighting at the family barbecue. Grandma, they at it again."
It's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. So
I think that might have been worse than Idiocracy.
I want to see Snoop Dogg now do a color commentary of the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, that'd be funny.
That'd be amazing. And that's his next career. He's going to just be like the color commentator on just about every sporting event from here on. Just set him loose on the Olympics.
Yeah,
that's it. Just set him loose on the Olympics. Give him a camera crew and a microphone, and then step back.
Mm-hmm.
No, man.
You all right over there?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it.
She's just contemplating the possibilities, the absurdity of it all.
Oh yes, definitely so.
So now that we've become America's favorite sports podcast,
there you go.
Well, it's geeky, and everything is geeky if you love it enough.
Love it enough. I think we're at our best when we're just basically shooting from the hip and having a grand old time. We're not trying to force the conversation to stay on a particular tangent, right? It's just we're just talking about what comes up next. We're at our best. Danny, how you been feeling lately, man?
I've been doing okay.
We knew we were going to do basically a Dan watch at this point.
Yeah, I mean the treatments are done, so I'm done with radiation and chemo. I'm off of everything until January 6th when I go in for an MRI and then see what's the next steps after that.
Okay,
so I get a break.
Give your body a chance to rest and just recuperate after what it just went through.
Yeah, recover from all the extra stuff that was pumped into it.
And January 6th is your appointment?
That's my MRI, and then I meet with a surgeon on January 8th.
For all you Catholics out there, that's the Feast of the Epiphany. Hopefully the doctors have a great epiphany about Daniel's condition. It would be nice.
It would be nice.
All Three Kings Day-ish. Tanya Fabulous, you're doing some laundry, and then you're writing some papers today?
No, I'm not writing papers today. We're writing a journal entry, I think, on Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
I see.
No,
Tanya, it's so brave of you to want to go back to college after all these years and study to get some more degrees under your belt. I thought you had a master's already, but hey, a couple more associates, pad that resume. I see how you're working.
Yep. Hey, it's never too late to go back. You could still become the history teacher, Christopher.
I was joking about that the other night. It might be my retirement job. In the last few years working for the city, I'll start getting my finish off my master's and work on my PhD a little bit, and then so as soon as I retire, I can take up a job as a social studies teacher at Aquinas or something. Because Aquinas kids, we always go back to that damn school, no matter how much distance we try to put between us and that place. It always comes reaching back into our lives. It
sucks you back in.
It does.
See, it's funny you bring that type of stuff up because earlier we were talking about what this podcast would be. What do you want in your life, or where do you see things going, or whatever? Mm-hmm. I have to figure out what to do with my life because I don't know yet. Without radio, I've been sort of just floundering. COVID made it possible or necessary for me to stay home. I'm not sure where to go and what to do next. So I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know. Radio is a dying business, and I don't know how to make money off of what I've been doing for the last couple decades of my life. So, if you have any ideas,
yeah, I mean that's the thing is, I was very blessed. I'm in a job that was, modified because of the pandemic, but untouched. I have not missed a day of work because of the pandemic. I've missed a day of work because I was even working when I was in quarantine because I was just working from home with my computer. So, but I can appreciate what you're saying. This whole year has thrown a lot of people off, and we're all looking at things differently. I know for one, I have talked a great game these past 12 months about things that I want to do to make the podcast better. I have talked about this. I've said I've had conversations with Dan. I've had conversations with Tanya. I think you and I have even chatted a little bit about things that we could do to make the podcast better. And I'll be honest, I haven't lifted a damn finger. When I could have, I haven't. And that's on me. Right. So these are things. This is going to be one of my New Year's resolutions, is to really kind of like focus, because we have this fun product. We've been doing this for, like Dan mentioned, 179 episodes over 4 years. And we've gotten together religiously, and we've talked about stuff that we've enjoyed, and we've tried to share that conversation. And every time people listen to us, they like it, but we just need to get more people to do that. So that's going to be one of my projects, and hopefully that helps kind of weave its way into something that you were thinking about too. We'll be a team, as we always do.
Yeah, so I'm just, maybe I wind up back in the world of warehouses and factories, which is fine. I've always enjoyed wherever I've worked, whether it's a warehouse or a factory. As long as I got people that I enjoy working with, it makes the job good, plus, plus health benefits and actual pay.
Yeah, never a bad thing.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, radio didn't pay exactly great. I've heard that over the years. So,
yeah, I've heard that from several sources.
So hopefully I find a new direction in life, or someone will realize my blog is the funniest thing on the internet and hire me to write something equally as humorous.
Thing is, it is. I've read your blog on several occasions. It's some of the best writing I've seen in a long time. It's like, oh my God. The things we do, the things we could do.
So I'm just not how to monetize what I'm good at, and sometimes I'm not even sure what I'm good at. So
I know I'm not good at just about anything I do. I just try to keep going forward until it works out.
Well, you're doing pretty all right.
I'm trying.
Just got to keep on pushing forward.
My dad would say that all the time. He'd be like, I'm trying. My ex-wife tells me that I was very trying. Yeah, that'd be my mom. Thanks for that reference, Dad. Appreciate that. Hey, Marana Mia. What do we do with these people? I have no idea.
I don't know.
You don't know. So,
what are we looking forward to?
Well, I don't want to. Not yet. Not yet. I was going to say, like I was saying at the top of the show, look back over 2020. Was it really? There are some noticeable things. There are two major things that happened in 2020 that we can point at and say, wow, this was really a crappy year. But did we really have, without that subtext of those two major things, the pandemic and the election cycle, did we really have that bad of a year?
I missed things that would have made, but no, my year was fine. I have a nice enough house. I have, a wife who loves me, and I love her, and animals and friends who I didn't see enough because of the pandemic, and couldn't have our normal, we missed the con. We've missed, the extra, why can't I say the word
extracurricular.
Thank you. God, I couldn't get that word out.
As soon as I picked up on where you were going with it.
Extracurricular. We couldn't have those, but I got books and a big TV and a refrigerator of food, and there's outside to walk around in, so I had all that.
Dan, you've had some obvious bumps in the road this year. But you have sailed through them.
Overall, all things considered, I can't complain. Like you were saying, your job is I didn't miss a day in my job. When we were, right before it all started, we were planning on, just trying to work from home just to make sure that everything was set up, and then we were forced into it, right at the exact time.
Right.
But we didn't miss a beat. I was busier than ever for quite a while. with work, and my wonderful cancer here popped up, and that's just it's luckily it was early enough. It's early enough in its life there that hopefully that I'll get through it relatively quickly into the new year there. And I didn't miss a day of work because of it. Maybe a few hours here and there, but so overall, I guess besides the obvious stuff, I can't complain too much.
Yeah.
So
how about you, Tanya? Fabulous over there.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't missed any work because of the pandemic. Fortunately, they figured out how we could teach remotely. It was a little bit of a scramble at the beginning because we're like, oh, we just got thrown into this. But now, even for this school year, I feel like we're prepped even better in case we do have to go remote at all. I know there's one building in our thing that has to go remote next week or this current week because their building is actually in the city. But the staff has to go in and work from the building, but the kids are remote. And because they are on Lyle and Mount Reed. You'd probably know which building I'm talking about. But other than that, like Riker and Tyler seem to be taking it in stride. It's really hasn't, other than seeing our friends and our family and not being able to do our big gatherings, that's the only thing that's been kind of like sad.
Yeah.
And different, but we're all working on, I'd rather miss this Christmas or whatever without having the 50 people together than not being able to see them for the future.
Amen.
So
absolutely. Yeah.
So I can deal with that. So
the Thanksgiving I was at last year in 2019 had 32 people in the house. The Thanksgiving that I hosted in 2020 had 4 people in the house, and I was one of them. So a huge difference, right? But it turns around in the long run that if you make that sacrifice now, you're going to see a benefit of it down the road in a hopeful sense. Where you get to make up for lost time with people you care about. That's all I can keep telling myself at this point. We had some great things happen this year. I mean, look at the geek level of things. I mean, Black Widow got pushed back into next year, but the movies that we love are still being made. They're on hold, but they're still coming out. They're not being canceled forevermore. And TV shows that we look forward to. So on the geek front, comic books still keep getting churned out. We have these things. Books are still being written.
I'm really looking forward Christmas Day. I'm going to spend the day watching Wonder Woman 84.
There it is. Yeah. I'm gonna have a showing of it at my house. So I'll have a couple people over so we can all watch it together. That'd be great. Gal Gadot in action again. Say what you want about her, but I think she's doing a great job with the part. So I'm looking forward. And local, Kristen Wiig playing the villain.
Yep, the cheetah.
That's kind of very cool, to be honest. So we have things to look forward to. We have things that are working in our favor. Look at the world of space travel. SpaceX did it. They launched Crew. They've launched crew missions to this International Space Station there, and Elon Musk is not letting the things that killed the Apollo program kill the Dragon program, right? He's not letting politics. He's doing the science. He's doing the engineering. He's doing the work. Spaceship tests are going on. He is driven. Say what you want about the guy. I personally think on a personal man-to-man level, he's a dick. He's just. I see the way he deals with certain people. I mean, if he's not talking about the things that he loves, can be quite the prick to people. However, he's driven. He is brilliant. He has the resources. Say what you want about him, but he's putting them all in to make this project happen. He wants to put human beings on Mars. He's going to do it. That man will be successful, and we'll be cheering for him. We'll be cheering for those people. It's going to happen, and he's making all the right moves, and his people are top freaking notch. So say what you want about the guy, but he's getting the job done. And so there's cool things happening. People, there's still science out there. There's still, philosophy and literature and film and adventures happening. And gamers are just having a blast because they're finding new and interesting ways to stay together and do things. There are so many good things that we can pull out of 2020. And will it balance the scales versus the people we've lost, the lives that have been lost, the chaos that has ensued? It's going to be a tough sell to tell me it's balanced things out, but it's at least made 2020 not a complete loss, in my opinion. I mean, am I on point? Is there things I'm missing?
We found new and innovative ways to do things.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that people have found ways to work remotely. Even entertainment and everything. They found ways to work remotely or work safely in this new environment, or just the way content has come out differently. And people really stepped up, and even entertainers came up and entertained us. On their own time during some of this times and everything.
Yeah, I've watched more concerts from my living room than I ever would have went to during the course of this year. Everyone is streaming. Last night I watched the Counting Crows do a show.
How are they doing? Counting Crows is a band I have not seen much of in like a long time.
I love it. I saw them live in an event during Lake a couple years ago. They're one of my favorites, and they did a show last night.
Definitely a good group. I've always enjoyed their music.
They sound great, and
that's cool.
I'm glad that that there's music out there that can still be seen and heard, and that's one of my things is music, and I've been able to sit here in my living room and really enjoy it. And it's not the same because to me with concerts, part of the fun is the anticipation of getting the tickets and then waiting for the show and then going through the door of the arena or venue and just waiting for the lights to go down. But I'm still seeing bands I love do what they do best. So, and I'm seeing it for mostly free. Occasionally I have to pay like a $5 thing or whatever, but no, I've entertainment has really done well, although I feel bad for the musicians who aren't making the money they'd make out on the road. Although some are doing well by charging $5, or a bunch of my favorites even just have, if you got something, go to our site and here's our PayPal or here's our Venmo or buy some of our merch. And there's some artists I like that are doing really well, having the fans support them.
There's this one band from the South, Delta Ray. They've been around it's one of those bands that there's like 3 or 4 bands that I discovered this year that have been around for like 8 or 9 years. So me discovering them is not a huge break for them in any way, shape, or form. But Delta Ray, they actually have like almost like a subscription service on their website now. And they call it the Delta Key or something. I didn't catch it really, but for a fee, and it's not nominal, but for a fee, you have access to all of their concert content that they create for the rest of the year. And I thought that was very innovative. That seems cool.
Yeah.
We've seen online conventions this year, through Discord or through websites. It's like Dan was saying, it's innovate and come up with a new way of doing it. It's forcing the evolution of how we do things on several fronts, entertainment. And we used Instacart for the first time at this house. While we were stuck in quarantine. I'm like, gee, we're running out of stuff. I need to go to Wegmans and I can't. Oh, well, here's this service. And yeah, it was a little pricier than it would have been for a normal Wegmans run. But this young lady who was amazing, she had a great smile and she was always in contact with us ever when she took the order and brought everything to the house. No contact. She was safe. We were safe. She wandered off. We pulled everything in the house. We were done. We were stocked up and ready to go.
And seriously, next time you wind up in quarantine, message me. I'm only a few blocks away. And Susan, that's one of the few places Susan and I go is the supermarket. So let us know if you need anything.
I appreciate that. No, it was kind of ironic. The young lady who exposed us and put us into quarantine was the one who sent us the Instacart link with almost like a gift certificate of sorts. So that's what encouraged us to finally use it. So she was like, "Sorry, you're stuck here. I can give you this." And we're like, "Okay, we'll go with it." And it was interesting. I mean, so the whole paradigm of how we look at things is shifting. And when somebody says, "I just want everything to go back to normal,"
we're not going to go back to normal.
We're never going to go back to normal. It's never going to happen ever again. It's normal is gone. There's going to be a new normal, which is
a new normal. Yeah,
a phrase that has popped up on several conversations lately. But we're going to have a new normal, and it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be cool, and it's going to lead to something else. So here's hoping, right?
Definitely. I have no idea what's going to happen with work, but they've given us the indication that we're not going to go in before schools are full time again.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no idea what's going to happen as far as are they going to expect us to go back to like we were before in the office, or just the fact that it's worked outside of the office,
right?
Is that should that be open more? We haven't. Because my job, I'm on the phone. If I'm talking to people, usually the phone anyway, so it doesn't matter where I am.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to see some of my coworkers sometimes, but I don't need to see them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what's going to change? What's going to be, like you said, the new normal? We can't just go backwards. We got to move forward.
Right. And, and it's interesting to see these conversations unfolding, because there are certain offices that are like, they're struggling because they want to bring everybody back into the building so they can have that watchful eye at all times on them. It's like, didn't you learn anything? If you don't trust these people, then why are they still working for you in the first place?
Right. Exactly. It's if you there's other ways to monitor work. Unless you're doing a job where you have to be somewhere physical, there's other ways to monitor what people are doing and everything. There's so many things. If you should know what work they're doing, you should be able to manage it. But I mean, there are some jobs you have to be physically there, but there's so many more options these days with technology and everything. I mean, there's stuff today that didn't exist even a couple of years ago. The whole Instacart thing, that's relatively new. Zoom is part of our normal everyday dialogue now, when most people have never heard of Zoom before this started. And unless you're working in the business world or something, so it's just, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And that is something that we will be looking forward to seeing how this all unfolds. I mean, it was interesting at the beginning of the pandemic, when everything was kind of starting to unfold and people weren't quite sure what was happening. We were given all these great remote tools for my job, and so that we could keep in touch and have meetings on the fly and being able to check in with our bosses, things like that. And we've been able to do the majority of our work in the field anyway, because we have these laptops on remote. Okay, good. Work from the car. Okay, no big deal. And but then we would have our end of the month meeting, and even though we had all these great remote tools, management would still call us into City Hall, and we would be sitting socially distant from each other in the room, in conference rooms and at our desks and stuff. And it just didn't make sense to me at all. And I remember bringing it up to our manager, and I'm just like, what is going on here? Why is this a thing? And finally, in the last monthly meeting we had, we all did it from our respective homes or cars or whatnot. We were all out and not actually in the building, and it worked. It worked out fine. Everybody was there. We were all interacting with each other, and it worked out cool. And I'm like, okay, good. See, this is the way it was supposed to be.
It makes sense. I mean, I mean, it doesn't. Why do they want you in the building if you don't need to be in the building, type of thing? Right? They just need to have that bit of control over you. What is it, kind of thing? I don't know. But
I don't know. Anyway, Tanya, what else were you thinking about?
Not a heck of a lot. I'm looking at stuff on Facebook for the holidays. You can use a bundt pan to make a Rice Krispie treat wreath.
Okay.
And I'm just like, oh, that'd be perfect, because we love Rice Krispie treats in our house.
Yes, we do.
So,
now shaped like Baby Yoda.
Now you're going into an extreme that I don't have the ability, and the creative capability to actually create that, it would look really, really bad. You know, if you've seen the things on Facebook about the cake fails, where you look at this nice picture of something and like doing an Elsa cake or whatever, and then
I could do that. No problem.
and then the real life thing is like it looks like it's been melted type thing. Yeah, that would be me. I'm lucky if I can draw stick figures. So yeah, nope, no. But I'm like, I think I could do the Rice Krispie tree wreath, but I don't have my bundt pan isn't one. Oh, I knew it. No, I do have a bundt pan. I could do it.
Let me see if a pan exists shaped like Baby Yoda.
Oh, what a surprise that would be, wouldn't it? I mean, because you have to admit that the merchandising people know that there are folks out there with Baby Yoda addictions.
They do have a toaster that will do the imprint of a Mono toaster. They do have a waffle maker. I did get the crock pot.
The crock pot?
There's a crock pot. It's
not shaped, it's just decorated.
It's decorated with Baby Yoda all the way around. It's a 7-quart crock pot.
See, now the lid, you should be able to remove the lid by the ears.
Oh boy. Yeah, so no. Are you looking on Amazon for a Baby Yoda?
Yeah, I'm typing in. That's exactly what I'm typing in.
I'm glad that everyone else is feeding my addiction.
I'm not.
That's okay. I don't think Dan's wife was too happy with me on Friday.
Oh God, that was hilarious. Friday was such an interesting day.
Oh yeah, it's Friday. So Friday, way back when, Anne had been shopping at Walmart and she saw that Walmart had the Baby Yoda inflatables holding a candy cane, but they didn't have any in Brockport. So I was on my Walmart app. I was at work. I was at my Walmart app, and I'm like, oh, they had them at Henrietta. So I ordered 2, thinking I was getting one for me and Anne. Anne's like, no, I'm buying cows. She was getting inflatable cows for her house. So I'm like, well, now I've got 2 Baby Yodas. I'm like, well, I know where the other one's going. The other one's going, and it was going to Dan's house. We told Dan about it, but we weren't necessarily telling him when it was arriving.
Right.
So Friday, Chris and I had the plan that we were going to meet out at Dan's house and put up Baby Yoda. But Baby Yoda was up by the time that Chris and Juno arrived because Chris got hungry and he had to go get food.
I skipped breakfast that morning.
Yeah, which is fine. And then Dan was able to kind of identify where Baby Yoda would go in and things like that. Well, Jen opens the door and is like, Tanya, what did you do? I'm like, it's just one. It's just one. I'm not doing anything else. So it was only one Baby Yoda, but I think Dan's kids loved it. So
they just accept it, whatever's going on, whatever. More stuff that Dad gets.
They're like, oh, Baby Yoda. I'm like, yeah, I got it for your dad. And Jen's like, what did you do? I'm like, just wait. If I can find... Oh, Billy must have found something. I just got a messenger notification. What's the link? Wilton, it's Darth Vader.
I said, sorry, no Baby Yoda.
Oh.
The Darth Vader cake pan.
There's a cookie cutter mold.
Well, you could make Rice Krispie treat shaped Baby Yoda heads if there's a cookie cutter.
Well, this is a very detailed cookie cutter, so it's more of a...
Oh. It's one of those cutout ones where you can...
I can't get onto Facebook in here, but...
So you'll have to go with the dark side, Tanya, for your...
That's okay. They
Rice
have cookies.
Krispie treat.
But then after we went to Dan's house and Juno got to see Uncle Dan, Chris took Juno up to Anne's house to run because Juno had not been able to run.
Yeah, not in a long time.
For
especially when we went in after quarantine.
A couple of weeks and things like that. And so I got to Anne's and I called her or whatever, and she's like, I thought you were going to send me a text saying I'm here. I'm like, or I'm on my way. I'm like, I'm on my way. I'm here. And she laughed. She's like, give me a couple minutes. I'll be out. Well, I had warned Chris that the chickens were out, that the chickens weren't in the coop, and he was a little hesitant about letting Juno out of the car.
I didn't think she was going to be in attack mode because that's not her style usually, but I just didn't think it was going to be a very controlled thing. Now, she's almost 2 years old, and I have not trained her in any way, shape, or form to be a working dog. She is a Australian Shepherd, and the theory is that she's might be mixed with something else too, which is fine. So she is predominantly working, herding animal, and she jumps out of the car and sees the chickens and immediately runs right at them. I'm like, oh, here we go. And she scattered them because they were all like, oh crap, something's coming. And
I'll go to the...
They all went in 6 different directions. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my dog starts chasing them back into each other. So she grouped them all back up. Now, she didn't know where to put them. She was having issues trying to figure out what to do with them because we weren't training her and teaching her on that part. So she was just kind of like randomly just trying to keep them together in one group. And so some of them would wander off, and she would go chase them back until they got back with the other. I'm like, oh my God, she's doing it. It's instinct. She's actually herding the chickens. I'm like, holy cow, this is amazing. So that was cool to watch. Go ahead. You tell them the favorite image, because we were laughing our asses off at one point.
I nearly peed my pants because it was hysterical watching Juno race around the house.
Yes.
Around the like brush pile that's all dead and things like that because of it being fall and almost winter time. Mm-hmm. And Anne's got like four some odd black feathered chickens and then like a couple lighter ones, things like that. And so Juno was chasing them around the front of the house and around the side. And Chris is going one way, I'm going the other way just to see where the dog went and where the chickens are. And coming around the back part of the house is a black chicken. It's not the one that went around the front part of the house, but the one around the back part of the house where I was coming. All of a sudden, Juno comes flying around the corner, chasing the chicken. The chicken kind of takes off, goes flying by me. I screech because it was like less than like 6 inches away from me, and I don't like anything flying, especially towards me. I'm like, It was such a sight to behold. And then Anne's laughing her rear end off because she had come outside by this time. She's laughing hysterically. The guys that are building the house next door, I think they stopped working for a couple minutes because to see this sight. And then one time Juno had come around the house, scattered the chickens. Chris went around the back of the house and said, Anne,
I think we found a dead one.
I think one of them died.
Because I saw when it was under some vines, and it was behind the air conditioning condenser, and it wasn't moving. And so I kind of walked up very gingerly, just kind of like see if I could maybe figure out if it was hiding or something.
Nudged it with his toe.
It with my foot, and it did not budge. I'm like, oh crap, she scared one to death. Okay. So
Anne comes over.
Anne comes over, we pull the vines up, and sure enough, the little bugger scooted out and wandered off. But it was for a moment there, I'm like, he's playing dead.
Yeah.
But my all-time favorite, I knew chickens could fly for very short ranges, right? They're capable of very short-term burst flight. So imagine how much we were laughing when that black fluffy one is flying around from the front of the house right down the driveway towards the coop. He was doing map of the earth. He had to be no more than 2-3 feet off the ground, but he was airborne for a good 200-300 feet. And the whole body language of the chicken was, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And Juno was behind him. Whee! Just full steam. She was at full steam and happier than I've seen her in ages. She was just having a grand old time. And this poor chicken's like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap.
So you finally got to see the chicken cross the road.
Oh my
cross the driveway, yeah.
It crossed the driveway, but man, it was doing it at full throttle too.
It was hysterical. So I talked to Anne later because Chris takes Juno over to the pet store.
I take her to the pet store to get the self-wash because this puppy needed a bath after that was done.
Yeah, she was muddy, all paws, things like that.
Oh,
she
it was terrible.
She got mud on me, mud on Chris, mud on Anne. She was jumping all over us, things like that, having a grand old time. So I was talking to Anne later. She's like, with the change of weather, their hens haven't been laying that many eggs. So like they're usually like only 3 or 4 every so many days. Well, she went Friday night to check the chickens and things like that. because a friend had come over, and so she was showing him the chicken coop and things like that. So she opened the end of the chicken coop, the nesting box. There were a dozen eggs in there, and she's like, "Wow, Juno made my chickens lay their eggs." Because she would get eggs after Athena would come over. When Athena would just chase them around the little coop. They weren't around the yard. This is the first time they've been chased by a dog. Because Athena only chased around the coop because the chickens weren't out when Athena was there. Because I have a feeling that Athena would probably eat one. I think Athena would
turn him into a chew toy. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, but whereas Juno, she's just like, she did kind of like run one over only because that one stopped and Juno didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And Juno's like, "Oh wait, what happened?"
Yeah, she ran one over, but I think it was because of momentum more than anything else.
Yeah.
And she felt bad about it too, because she did the whole hangdog look when the chicken was picking itself up off the ground again. She was like, "Oh no!" And then it ran off, and she's like, "Okay, cool, game on."
Yeah,
she went right back to it.
And of course, we didn't think about videoing it because we were too busy laughing our asses off.
Yeah, I got to make sure of that the next time I take her over there, because that's just, it's too much fun to be had.
Oh, so. Yeah, Juno's like, "What ball? I'm chasing chickens." But that was like a good way to like end like kind of like the holiday weekend type thing, is seeing the joy on her face is like, "Oh, I get to play." That type of thing. Did we lose Dan?
I don't know. Daniel's son.
Oh, okay.
He's still there. He's
I'm listening.
All right, so that's talking about what happened and our thoughts about stuff in the past. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll do a question of the week. And then next week, we're going to start talking about the things we want to do in 2021. And that's where you, and I'm talking to you listening to us right now, that's where we're going to start getting your input, because if there's topics that we haven't talked about or haven't talked about in a while, if there's people you want us to try and interview, if there's people that we should be talking about, TV shows, movies, books, comic books, literature, some sort of thing that we need to start. This is where the conversation for what happens next will be next week. So let's take a quick break. We'll do our question of the week, and we'll start wrapping up for this week. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, and all human beings in between. I'll get used to that. So that was fun, and I liked that. That was good. I enjoyed that. I always enjoy our conversations. The four of us hanging out together is always fun for me. So question of the week time. Daniel-san.
Yes.
Dost thou have thine list?
I dost do.
You dost.
Mother, really bad. You weareth her drapes.
I doth have thine list. Mine list. List mine? I don't know. My list. Anyway. Question 308.
308. Hello, come on. Scroll. All right. If you were transported 400 years into the past with no clothes or anything else, how would you prove that you are from the future?
400 years. Let me do the math.
400 years into the past.
16 something.
1620?
Yeah.
I wouldn't try. It would get me killed. I would just say I was set upon by highwaymen and please help me, and then I would just do the best I could to figure out what the hell just happened to me. I wouldn't even try, because the 1620, as soon as I said I'm from the future, they'd be like, "Witchcraft, burn him!"
Yeah, well, that's definitely happening. I have my Baby Yoda tattoo.
Yeah, that wouldn't make a difference to them. They would say, "Oh, it's a demon. You have art of the demon upon thee." And, Tanya would then be burned at the stake.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to be burned at the stake anyway.
Yeah. So, how about you, Billy?
Oh, I'm trying to think. God, how would I prove that I'm from the future?
Depends on where we land.
God, that's a weird question. I don't know.
If we were dumped in like Japan, we'd probably be okay.
Okay,
Egypt would probably be okay.
I got it. My dental hygiene is compared to theirs. And other personal grooming.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think because I read the book. I read the Outlander series, which is the similar type of thing where she straightforward back in the past. And do you prove you're from the future, or how do you survive in the past, kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
How would you be able to survive in 1620?
No, I know I can't.
I'd be able to survive in 1620. I'd just play Minecraft in my head, basically. Just what needs to be done. Okay, let's look at the shelter, look at the food, look at the do the basics. Just try and keep going forward. But I wouldn't talk about where I came from because that's like the surefire way to get in trouble.
Right.
Well, I think our dialect and our language would be definitely a key.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a hindrance.
Yeah, because we wouldn't necessarily understand a lot of.
You don't realize how much language has changed in 400 years.
Right.
Yeah, I think Chris and I would have a little bit of an advantage being English majors and having read Old English and things like that.
Yeah.
We're still colonies back then. Come on.
So, but
actually, in 1620 there was colony.
Colony. Okay. Yeah.
What was it? Plymouth. Jamestown?
Yeah, Plymouth and around Penn's Woods and early Virginia. That's about it. So I mean, if we got transported 400 years, but we're in the same place, then we have a lot of explaining to do to the local population. And we would, it's basically make peace with the locals as quick as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And teach them your sorcerous ways for when the white man comes.
Yes, I would definitely, because if we landed in this area, it was with the Seneca and the Iroquois and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely be paleface.
Oh yeah,
I'm really, really pale compared. I'm like you.
But the thing is they weren't the barbarians they have been depicted as. They were they were tribal, they were warlike, they were very protective, but if you came in peacefully, they weren't going to just suddenly maul you to death right there on the spot, scalp you, and be done with it. As a matter of fact, they didn't learn that they weren't scalpers until the white men taught them to do it, because the white men were doing it to them. So they were just returning the favor.
Mm-hmm.
Native Americans got boned in history, in the writing of history. I'm pretty sure that if we wound up in Rochester in 1620, right, and we were in the, we met the locals, the Native Americans, as long as you treated them with respect, they were going to probably help you out and figure out how to, what to do with you. They weren't just going to immediately go, "Oh, foreigner, kill it." So
I have no linguistic capability, so I wouldn't be able to communicate with them.
Yeah, well, on that one too, I would not be able to communicate with them either. But you could at least try and show an open hand and
mm-hmm.
be kind, and they would probably show kindness right back.
Would they be taken aback by your nakedness since you have no clothes?
Yeah, I was just wondering that.
Yeah, that'd be a thing. But they've probably seen weirder things because they deal with the spirits and all that. So I don't know. That's an interesting thought. It gets it's funny how these wonderfully simple geeky questions become these philosophical debates for us. Anyway, as always, I'd love to hear what you have to say, listener. Yes, I'm talking to you with the headphones. Okay, no, not you with the iPod. The AirPods. Because you already have the answer. You're already typing it in as we speak. But the one with the headphones. Yes, you. Thank you. All right. So let us know what you're thinking, and we'll keep the conversation going on our Facebook and Twitter feeds. So, gang, before we let you go, I got to start doing this on a more regular basis. If you love what we've been doing, support us. We have Patreon, www.patreon.com/FC3ROC, right? We're there. We've got several levels. Some are very inexpensive. Some are more involved. And we're going to do some work on that in the new year to make that a little more streamlined and start being able to make good on some of our promises there. We also, on the weekly basis, have James Irish's blog, which has been great. The kid knows how to write so well. I love it. And then we have our Nerd World News on Mondays. We have Comic Chicks on Wednesdays. So we're always got something going on. So if you like what we're doing, please, please, please feel free to support us. Even if it's simple as wanting to buy a t-shirt, we have merch. You can go to Amazon, amazon.com, look for FC3 Monkey Business, look for FC3 Nerd World News, stuff like that. And those t-shirt designs are out there. Order a shirt. Order some sort of merch from us. We'd love to be able to say thank you to you, and we will do so if possible. And just keep pushing, and we're going to keep going forward because we've been doing this for 4 years now, and we've never had a bad day at work. I think I've always enjoyed every podcast we've ever done. And so we'd like to bring you on that journey with us as we grow and evolve and improve. Anything I'm missing? I don't think so. I think I got hit all. Hit all the good points, the salient points. Ooh. And so with that being said, what's that?
That's your 25-cent word for today?
That's my 25-cent word of the day. I am an English major. I is an English major. All right. So with that being said, Dan.
Oh, Chris.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Chris.
Hit it. Because this has been FC3's Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic Con, coming at you in April 2021. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us wherever we go, and we'll lead you to where the entertainment is. You guys have a great week, have a safe week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Dun, dun.